There we go. Hi, Wade.
Hello, Win.
How are you?
I'm doing good. Can you hear me okay?
I can. I can. I'm so sorry for the late meeting, getting organized link. Right now, I and my fan base knows this. Right now, I'm actually going back to journalism school. So that's what I've been doing for the past 2 days.
Sounds like you've got a busy transition going on for you.
Oh, you can say that again. You can say that 1,000 times over. No, it started in in September, and I still haven't got the hang of doing a podcast and going back to school.
Juggling is, a difficult and challenging task.
Yes, yes. So how this is going to work is it's recording right now as we speak, and I'm just going to leave us chatting in so people can hear behind the scenes because they seem to like that. And so how this is going to work is I'm going to obviously introduce the show and obviously introduce you and let you give a brief synopsis of your bio to my fan base.
Perfect. And just to clarify, so it's audio only, or do you want me to turn video on?
It's audio only.
Great.
It's audio only. Trust me, video and bandwidth do not mix.
Understood.
And so here we go. Welcome to Butterflies of Wisdom, everyone. This afternoon, which yes, you will be hearing this afternoon, I have a Wade with me, and Wade is going to take it away and explain a little bit about himself. Then I'll be asking him the baseline questions.
Wonderful. Thank you, Win, so much. Where I should probably start is early on. I come from immigrant parents who came to the New World for a better life in two different ways, one from Sweden, the other from England. And it didn't really all work out the way they planned, and so they divorced, and at age 8, my mother was awarded custody, but my father decided to try to take matters into his own hand and actually kidnapped myself and my 2 sisters. Managed to smuggle us out of the country and got us to Sweden, where it was an international court battle for 2.5 years that went to the Supreme Court of Sweden. So those traumatic events sort of shaped and framed my life, gave me an understanding for what it means to be an outsider, to be different from other people. Also gave me a lot of positive benefits, such as being adaptable to foreign cultures and foreign languages. And those events, were seminal in shaping my life and making me who I am today. Fast forward through quite a lot of events, I eventually decided to write and decided that I needed to found a publishing company in order to provide the right model for people like myself who wanted to keep creative control, who didn't want to just self-publish, but who wanted a publishing company that could be adaptable to their needs and allow them to have a voice that would be professionally edited and have a team behind them to support them on their journey as an author. So that's in a nutshell, probably what's of most interest to your audience at this time.
I have a question for you, and this is not the baseline question at all, but I'm just going to throw this out there today because I've been dealing with a publisher who's very nice, by the way, and I've been told to do less of a carbon footprint. People have said to me, Win, you need to put your books on ebooks and leave it alone. And so I am going to talk to my publisher and see what we can do about that. But do you think most publishers are adaptable, Wade, or is it just you that is adaptable because you know that people have needs and want their needs to be met. I mean, when I bring this up to my publisher that I just want my books published on ebooks, what should I say? Because I know they're going to give me, I won't call it backlash, but I know they're going to say, why? Why
Right.
do you want your books published on ebooks? And I'm going to say, because I'm going to work with them and make it less of a carbon footprint, you guys.
So, I think one of the concerns you're raising right now is a very important one, and that is, what is your goal, right? Each author may have different specific goals or desires. And I won't go into examples. It would take a bit of time just to map out different examples. But you can imagine one author, really having an intent of documenting something for their family or friends. Another one wanting a book to enhance their professional credibility. Another one, hoping for that lottery ticket of becoming a best-selling author, and a lot of other variations in between. So what I've done is, because of my business experience and being a management consultant at one of the largest consulting firms, Deloitte Consulting, helping large companies solve their business problems, I've been trained to look at things from an entire process perspective and take into account other industry factors and business factors, because I have an MBA and a lot of experience. So I looked at the entire ecosystem and said, how should this work if you could build a better mousetrap from the ground up? What would it look like? And one of the things we took into account in this model that we call author-driven publishing is a really honest and open dialogue with the author way up front, before too much water gets under the bridge, before too much investment is made by either party or commitment by either party. What does success look like for you? What do you want to get out of this? If A, B, or C happens, which one is preferable to you? And then we are adaptable in that sense that we can help map out a plan jointly with the author to deliver the author's method of success. We have various ways to profit and benefit from a successful author. So our model is created such that we don't have to fit you into a round hole if you're a square peg. We can find a mutually beneficial relationship that allows you to achieve your goals your way.
And I think my publisher will help me do that. And the reason why I picked my publisher is because they're based out of Houston. And believe it or not, my publisher's home was actually flooded in Hurricane Harvey. And so that's why I picked my publisher. But how much does this cost the author to work with you guys?
So in our model, we have a free path to obtain a publishing contract with us. And then that publishing contract provides you full service publishing. So all the editing, all the proofreading, all the book design, cover design, everything that you need to deliver the highest quality product, both in print and in ebook, is covered by the publishing company. We then have a method of recouping those costs through a pre-order process. So what everybody needs to understand about our model is we work with you long before publication, and we work with you in a public way. We have you publish your book idea on our site, and then we work with you to gain readers by crowdsourcing them in the form of votes for your book. When you get 2,000 votes for your book idea, that's when your book contract is offered to you. With 2,000 people who have already said, hey, I'm interested in this book, we know we can recoup our money, so we don't have to make you pay for it.
So your model is based on crowdfunding.
not crowdfunding, we say we crowdsource the readers. So what that means is that if you show that you have what it takes to get 2,000 people to vote for your book, and in our model, a vote means that they've given us their first and last name and an email address, we know that you can be successful financially, not just write a good book, but you have the ability to sell your book, you have the ability to market your book, you understand what it means to have an author platform. You're not the kind of author that lives in a little bit of a fantasy world thinking they can lock themselves in their room, write the perfect American novel, and somehow the whole world will take notice.
You guys, that's not true. What Wade said, Wade and I both know that you take on a whole as a different job. I took on a whole as a day job. I thought a podcaster was tough enough. No, being a self-published author is extremely tough. And I agree with you, Wade. It's not about locking yourself into your room and trying to gain that fan base. It's about interacting with that fan base on social media, requesting book deals, working it, so to speak.
That's true. And there are other ways to do it as well. I'm working with an author locally here who has a ballet studio. And her ballet studio is called Storybook Ballet. And instead of the stories about princesses and whatnot, she decided to write her own stories based on characters that would teach the children virtues. So Willow Rose learns honesty, or Chloe learns patience, Chloe being a caterpillar. And these are beautifully illustrated children's books. And then she has created a dance program where these ballet students can dance the stories that she and her mother have written. And so she's got a lot of local projects going and people supporting her, so that it's not necessarily social media. We do help her with that as well. But she's in the real world here through her ballet studio, building a cult following for her work. And that's her author platform. So in that sense, each author is unique. And we work with people like that to, make sure that there's an interest in the book before we publish. That's the big thing. And there are publishing models out there called vanity publishing, where sure, you pay somebody $50,000, and it does go up to that amount. Pay me $50,000 and I'll produce your book for you and I'll get it in bookstores for you. And in the end, your book is still not really selling and you're out $50,000.
Well, I believe in the model, and after I work with my publisher, because we're only doing one book, I want to see how this whole publishing process works. I might have to use your model, because your model sounds better than everything else, only because you have the cult following behind your business / I'm coming in with 8 books under my belt, which most authors are not.
That's wonderful.
I'm sorry, they're not. They're coming in with 1 book, and they think that that book is going to get me or them to the New York Times bestseller list. That 1 book is not going to get you guys to the New York Times bestseller list, no matter how hard you try. You need book after book after book, and that's why I'm going back to journalism school to get paid for my writing.
When you really raise a great point here. So in our model, when you get your publishing contract for your first book, one of the components is you're going to have to publish your next book idea with us shortly after you publish your first book, so that even while you're still now on the road promoting your first book, you've already got your next book announced, and we're already working to crowdsource the readers for your next book. And most of those, they can vote for your next book, and then they can go buy your first book, right? You will.
I like that plan.
To your point, most people will not achieve instant success with their first book. It might be the second or third. And if you've got a trilogy or a series, all the...
Yeah, no, exactly. Most people think, oh, my one book is going to get me fame and fortune. Nope.
So there's another component to that, and that is that we really want to continue expanding the number of people who are getting their book ideas out there, because our holy grail is to get 1 million email addresses of people who've said, yes, I would buy this book, that book, or the other book, differentiated by genre, differentiated by topic, so that, to your point, when you come to us and you show that you can get 2,000 votes, great. Now that you've got a contract, we then can deploy our, sizable army of readers and say, hey, is this book of interest to you? And there's a segment of that, massive email list that will. So, our big, hairy dream is to compete with Amazon on the books, because Amazon is no longer about books.
Yeah, Amazon is no longer about books. And unfortunately, you guys, I have mixed feelings about Amazon. God knows I love them for self-publishing, but their support is absolutely awful. So that's why I'm trying to publish a method, because when you self-publish yourself, you have to do the formatting, you have to do the cover design, you have to do all this behind the scenes stuff, and then if you run into a jam, you call India, and they have no idea what's going on. And
right.
So, and Wade, you would probably agree with me, because so at least with a team behind us, the team can facilitate Amazon, the team can facilitate iBooks, the team can facilitate Nook, the team can facilitate Kobo.
True, and what we do, so of the last 6 titles we've published, 5 of them have become #1 rated hot new releases on Amazon.com. That's in that sense the equivalent of that New York Times bestseller list, claim. Yeah. And the way that we do that is we also actually love Amazon. Even as much as I'd like to build the sort of David and Goliath story for the future, us versus them. To be a #1 rated hot new release on Amazon is your claim to fame. So we embrace Amazon through the pre-order process, and we actually focus all our efforts on Amazon. They also have the best reviews, right? And you have a certified buyer. We have a number of ways that we have found to work with Amazon to gain the benefit that we can from them being the big name in the marketplace, without having to go and spend the massive amount of money that it would take to, let's say, get your books in barnesandnobles.com. The bad news there is that to actually get your books, you have to imagine you're going to have to print enough books to get at least 1 copy in every Barnes and Noble across the United States. Again, whether or not anyone ever buys it. And then you've got to ship it there, and then you've got to give it to them for half price, with the agreement that if somebody buys it there and returns it, they'll ship it to you at your expense, or they'll destroy it for you for free at your cost because it's your book. So, I mean, it's just, there's no way the little independent author can play that game. So that's why, as I said at the beginning, looking at the entire ecosystem, the entire industry, how would I set it up to actually give the little guy a chance in this, structured industry, which favors the big players?
And you admit something very ironic in your bio. You were a teacher. You knew that teaching income won't make you enough. Books will. And so how did you decide, okay, I want to quit my teaching job? I've been dying to ask you this question, Wade. How did you decide I want to quit my teaching job and start a publishing company?
Well, there's a lot of space between A and B in this case. So when I quit my teaching job, it was because I had been offered to be a corporate trainer. So I went from teaching 4th and 5th graders, which I loved working with the kids, but I couldn't really feed my family on it. I went from
Amen.
that to training people in the corporate environment how to use software. And if you remember back in the days before the mouse really took over, my first class was Meet Your Mouse.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
I was teaching people in sort of, industries that were a little behind the curve, how to get up to speed with the latest technology. And from there, from working in the technology space, I then got another job as a senior business analyst, helping to put together the specifications on different software packages. And the next thing you know, I'm doing really big business deals, working in some of the largest corporations, and I became a rising star in the field of technology and these specialty systems. And suddenly I'm making lots of money. And eventually did an internet startup in 2007 called GoHuman.com, which failed. I was one of 4 founders, but that one failed, but it gave me the experience needed in the social media world to incorporate that into this publishing idea, which I then started in 2012.
Well, congratulations on quitting your teaching job. You know that I'm a teacher, and the moment I get my associate's degree, with 6 weeks notice, I'm telling my teaching job audios. I'm telling my teaching job audios because, teachers don't make enough, disabled or not. You're not disabled, but we still don't make enough. And I'm disabled, and we still don't make enough.
Yeah, and our society as a whole has that backwards. And, if I could, I'd go tackle that problem. It's not something I could, but, our teachers are those who should be getting paid more than anybody.
Yes, I agree. But this podcast wasn't about teaching, now, was it? It was about nicely publishing books. And so if a person who is listening out there in the podcasting universe to this podcast, and they say, oh, I want to publish a book with Wade, how would they go about doing that?
It's very simple. They just go to the website, Soup. It's Soup, SOOP, for Something or Other Publishing, soupllc.com. And right there's a menu bar at the top with a tab, and it has a menu option that says Publish with Soup. You can click there and learn all about our model. And if you want to publish, you just go click on the link and submit your book idea. It takes you about 10 minutes to submit that. If you have a cover image, great. If you don't have a cover image, that can be added later. And you submit it, we review it, and then get in touch with you if we need anything. Otherwise, we publish your book idea, send you the link, and you're on your way. And what's important to know is that our model is an education model, right? So there is so much that the wannabe author really needs to learn about the industry in order to be successful. And we don't want anyone to get to the contracting stage and be ignorant and not know what they're signing up for. So every time you get to a certain milestone, your first 50 votes, then at 150 votes, we send you a free self-help guide and a homework assignment. And you read the self-help guide, and there are links in there if you need to do a little more research. And then you fill out the homework. It's not that hard. It just takes a little bit of focus. It might take you 15 to 30 minutes to fill it out and send it back in. And then you proceed and you get the next homework assignment and the next one. And every step of the way, we're training you, we're educating you, we're helping turn you into a successful author. And there are hands-on activities that then guide you and help you build your author platform and get these votes and interact with your audience and improve the quality of your product.
So self-publishing school for us that's what Soup is providing.
Well, you can, I love music, and there's that old Led Zeppelin song, Stairway to Heaven, which says there are two paths you can go by, and in the long run, there's still time to change the road you're on.
Yeah.
So we kind of follow that principle. You can decide at any point to self-publish. You can decide at any point to jump off and go with another publisher. One of my favorite examples is Jennifer Irwin in her book, Address the Color of the Sky. She managed, based on what she was doing with us, she managed to sell the book rights to her book before it had even been published. And
oh my God. This is a success story right there.
Yeah,
oh
and then in the end, she decided to go with a different publisher. But she was so impressed by what she got from us and how we worked with her. She then came back to us and said, "Would you handle my social media for me?" And I said, "Sure, we will." So there's somebody who's not publishing with us. She's not self-publishing. She's already sold the movie rights. Her book is coming out this holiday season, Address the Color of the Sky. And I'm promoting her even though we don't publish her, but we're helping her on social media.
Well, that's a success story right there, and I hope that my publisher is the most successful with my book. Otherwise, I'm coming over to you guys.
Well, Lynn, here's an idea. Talk to your publisher so that they're okay with us, but why don't you publish a book idea with us that is not the book you're publishing now? It can be something that you intend to publish or that you're just noodling around on. Maybe you'd like to see if people would be interested in that topic. Publish a book idea with us. And then, you've got another team supporting you as you actually go publish your other book. And we can, you can get into our top 20 list with your next book, even while your other book, and then we can feature you in a blog and so on and so forth.
That is a brilliant idea. And I won't even tell my publisher what's going on. I probably should, but that is a brilliant idea because of I need all the help I can get. I need all the new readers I can get because of what Amazon is doing. I mean, Amazon and KDP. I have also a friend of mine. She, actually, two people have decided. One has decided not to stick her books in KDP. The other one has decided to walk away from self-publishing completely, which I think is sad because she wasn't making enough money on Kindle. And she was a New York Times bestselling author, but when Kindle changed their algorithms, she decided not to publish anymore.
Yep. So, I think you probably should, get in touch with your existing publisher about this because we work very cooperatively and collaboratively. And, if they're aware of what you're doing, they're not going to be sort of taken aback and think the worst. What's she doing with this other company? It can be very above board. We have no intention of, in any way trying to take anything away from everybody. It's all, the sum of the parts is greater than the whole, or however that saying goes. Now,
before I let you go, I want to ask you, and then you can ask me a couple questions about anything. I want to ask you, how do you pay your authors? I know you're into Amazon #1, and that's great. And so you get more authors. I know you're into the free pass to publishing, and that's phenomenal. Wait, I don't know how you do that on the back end. But how do you pay your authors once they sell a book with you guys?
So let me say that I mentioned we have a free path. We also have a premium path as well. And there are some additional benefits you get with the premium path. So we have a subscription model. It's known as a freemium model. In other words, you get lots of great things for free, and you can actually get everything you need for free. But you can also pay a fee and get additional support, additional help, additional benefits. So there's that. We also have a marketplace where people can post their books, and people in the publishing industry can post their services. So there's a subscription revenue coming in for us from there. We also sell marketing packages to people who either publish with us or who do not publish with us, so we have additional revenue streams there. The specific question of how we pay the authors once their book is published is that when you publish, we don't give the details of any specific contract, but in general, our contracts feature a 50-50 royalty split.
Okay. And how is that paid out? Through a direct deposit or through PayPal's or what?
Yeah, that can be done, however the person would like to receive it, whether it's by check or PayPal. We do quarterly reports from, the sales. We have print on demand available on 6 continents. So we have, different sales reports coming in at different times, whether it's the Great Britain area, the European, Australia, the United States. And then, we tally up those sales quarterly and pay out the royalties as they're due. Okay,
so it's up to the author, because I know a lot of authors, surprisingly, who are international, don't have a U.S. bank account. So it's hard when the publisher wants to go with a U.S. bank account, and you don't have one. So I'm happy to hear that you guys use the PayPal, because PayPal is the easiest thing to do.
One of our other favorite authors is a lady named Rohini Singh, whose book, The Time Manipulator's Son, has just won an award, and she is the first female science fiction writer from Trinidad, and her book is featured in the library system in Trinidad. She's a little bit of a national hero for having gotten a publishing contract with us, and so on.
So I'm happy that you're working with international authors, not only based in the U.S. And when you say here, Wade, I'm working with an author here. Where is here? Where are you conducting this interview from?
I live in Madison, Wisconsin, which is where Soup is based. Okay. And I call it the blue heart of the red state. There's your political. You can take whatever you want.
The blue heart of the red state. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I'll be using that. I'll be probably using that line because I have a book idea. You guys don't know my book idea yet. I actually have 2 of them, but I am pretty much, what I can tell you right now is I am going to write a novel about something, and it's going to be underneath a pen name because it's a controversial subject. Let's just put it that way. And I actually have another book that I'm doing and another controversial subject. And so, Wade, I think we're going to be working more times than not together, and I'll see what I can do. My name might pop up on your website. You never know. So before I let you go, I want you to ask me a couple questions about anything.
Well, sure, Wynn. So, my understanding is that you are facing a disability. So, what would you say? What advice would you give to people who, have not had much experience and who feel awkward and who don't know what to say or what to do around people who are disabled in some way? What piece of advice could you give?
Okay, I'm actually going through that question with one of my professors right now who doesn't quite understand that I'm getting a journalism degree / I have CP. So I be nice, number one. Be nice, be nice, be nice. No matter what people say, you can always be nice, and just be open and honest about your disability, whether it's mental or physical disabilities. And a person asked me this morning, she goes, "Is it true you have cerebral palsy?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, that's public knowledge." Day one, I started this podcast based off a book, and I put in that book, I have cerebral palsy, and day one, I said, I have cerebral palsy, this is the way it's going to work. CP comes first, the podcast comes second at that time. Now it's CP and school, but I was very open and honest about my disability and my flaws, but some people are not open and honest, and you kind of have to work with them, not against them. So if you're nice to them, they want to talk to you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Yeah, well, you're welcome for that. Because if you're mean and say, "Oh, I have a disability, just go jump in the lake," you can't get anywhere. So as long as the disabled person is nice to the able-bodied, you can go 1,000 miles a minute.
Yeah. So one other question. What will be the the focus that you'll have as you complete your journalism studies?
Fashion journalism.
Wow.
Fashion journalism. And I'm learning a lot. And the reason why I decided to go back to school is because after 4 years of being self-taught and being a self-taught journalist, I thought, okay, something needs to change here. I need to learn how to be a pro, because this is going to be my calling. Education is not my calling, obviously, and I hate to admit that, but we love working with the kids. It's the admins, it's the paperwork, it's everything else behind the kids that drives us nuts.
Yep. How well I remember.
Oh, we're not going down memory lane, but I and a lot of good educators are leaving the education system, and that's why. That's why, because the admins drive us nuts, and we don't get a paycheck for it. We get diddly squat paycheck. And people laugh at me all the time when I say this. I make more money publishing books than I do teaching.
And that's revenue that can continue to grow.
Yeah, and that's revenue that can continue to grow. So, do you guys publish academic books too? If a person wanted to publish strictly academic book, because I actually have a client right now who's working on a book about service dogs and emotional support animals, and she wants it to be self-published, and she wants it's more of an academic book. And when she gave me that challenge of finding a publisher, I'm like, well, create space won't do it, but I will do your research. I will do the research, and I will help you through this process, but it will take a little bit of time. So do you guys at Sub Publishing publish academic books, or
so
no?
There are only two criteria that would cause us to reject your book. Number one, we do not publish pornography, and we'll decide what that is. Well, we'll decide what is and what isn't pornography. I mean, we published a book called Red, which is, a little bit like 50 Shades of Grey, though we think it's much more intelligent than that. It's from an author from Brazil who's written an amazing book. but if we had deemed that to be pornography, which we didn't, we would not have published it. The second criteria is if it is intentionally offensive. Now, we love controversy, but if your book, and again, it's our discretion, if we deem that your book is intended to just go out there and be offensive, we won't publish it. Anything else we'll publish. That having been said, we have an author, Eric Monshine, who's written Life at 12 College Road, which actually, an excerpt from his book was the most popular post ever on the Boomer Cafe blog, which you may be familiar with. He also is a judicially trained, and he wrote a different book for the New York Bar Association, which he decided not to publish with us because they have a captive audience and they know exactly how to get that book out there and how to market it and basically force people to buy it because they're part of another program. So for him, that book did not go through us, even though his other one had. However, had he wanted to publish it with us, we would have published it, but he made the right choice given that he had that option.
Yep. Well, to each their own, but the soup publishing model, you guys, is great, and I'm going to be using the soup publishing model, even though I already have a publisher right now. I have to play my cards right with this publisher, which I will, and then I will say I'm publishing an idea with another publisher, and if they give me the okay, I will do the soup model. But it sounds like you're pretty much open to anything.
As long as it's, again, not what we deem to be intentionally offensive or demeaning to women in the form of, or men in the form of pornography, right?
Yes.
So anyway, and we were happy to work with and collaborate with other publishers. We're not seeking to own and control. We're seeking to support and help.
Well, that's a wonderful way to do it. And as you guys know, I have a semi-big fan base who follows my work. I've been already #1 several times on Amazon. So the soup publishing model will work for me. I just have to email publishers and see. But you might see me, Wade, pop up on your website, and we'll have everything in the show notes. You guys know how to get my show notes by now, at least I think you do. But we'll have everything in the show notes, and I appreciate Wade's time this afternoon, and I hope you guys have a great day. This podcast has been sponsored by Grace by Grit. Grace by Grit is a clothing line out of California. They are giving you 20% off when you type in the code Extra Butterflies at gracebygrit.com. And I hope you guys enjoyed this fabulous episode about publishing. I knew we would get publishing in the deal with Wade and I hope you use Wade's model, and I hope that Wade gets